This video is best viewed in full screen mode, and on YouTube that's this icon right here. And if you have a high bandwidth connection, you also want to watch it in HD, which is this icon right here. This video goes over the user preferences form, and you can get to that by going to the File menu and selecting User Preferences. First thing we'll go over here is the secondary backup location. Everything that is backed up is automatically backed up to a subdirectory within the Applications folder. However, you can also select a secondary backup location, and this is a good thing to do if you happen to have a couple different hard drives. If you have the program installed to your C drive, then you would make a backup, secondary backup onto your D drive if you have it. Then even if your C drive fails, you have a backup someplace else. And you can select where you want it to be backed up through this button here, and you just navigate your way down and pick whatever folder that you want, and that'll be your secondary backup location. And while I'm on the subject of backups, it might be a good idea to go out here to Mozy, mozy.com, and over here they have this deal where it's free to back up your data, and this 2 gigs will certainly take care of all the information you'd ever have in your judgment management system. And so if you use that, if your house burns down or your office burns down, you can still go out and get your data and replace it and be back to where you were and made whole. Over here is where you select if you want a minimal backup or a maximum backup. The only reason you'd really want to select a minimal backup is if you're just really hurting for hard disk space. Otherwise, you should do a maximum backup. And you may be saying, oh my goodness, 36 copies, that's a little too much, isn't it? And it's not just the last 36 copies of your database. It actually saves them over strategic time frames. So, for example, eventually, if you could click this off, eventually you'd have a copy for each month over the last 12 months, and then a copy for each week over the last month, and then several copies of the one you created today, and a few copies of the one you had yesterday. So it just allows you to go back into any point in time and look at your data. It just gives you the maximum amount of possibilities. So anyhow, you want to select that, unless like you're hurting for drive space, then select here. This here is the system will give you a warning when a judgment is going to expire. Right now it defaults to 90 days, so if a judgment's within 90 days of expiring, you'll get the judgment expiring warning. You can change this to whatever you want. If you want to make it 120 days so you have more time, or 180 days, whatever, just put whatever you put in there is when the system will decide it's time to give you a warning. Here is your backup regiment. You can do automatic backup, which I cannot see any reason in the world why you wouldn't want to do that. And what happens is every time you close the program down, it does a backup for you. Or if you want, you can select the manual backup, and then it'll only back up when you do so manually, which is done under this menu here. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is here on your merge results. This is about when you create a document. There's a merge results form, and this talks about when do you see that form. And this is the recommended setting. So I'm going to unclose this and show you what that's about. If you go to create a document, and we're going to create this one here, and there you go, the document is created and that form did not show up, and that's because there were no blank fields found in the form. So now if we go over here and we create this other document, now this form pops up. And the reason this form pops up is because inside of the document there was this merge field, and that is the merge field for the judgment debtor's date of birth. Now the value that you currently have in your record for their date of birth is missing. You haven't filled that out yet. So what this is telling you that, hey, you're creating a document, you have this merge field here, and you don't have a value in the database for it. So what's going to happen is that merge field is just going to get blanked out, and that may be an important field that you do want into your document. So this is just a way of letting you know there's an anomaly, and you go in and click this button here to create the document, or you can click this button here and you can cancel the document. So that's what this is all about. If you click never show, it never shows up. If you click always show, it shows up every time you create a document. But if you use this setting here, then it's kind of like a warning to you that there's an anomaly with this document. You may want to take a look at it. All right, and the next thing over here is the default accounting style, and it allows you to select what you want for that. And basically, that is what shows up here in this list. When you create a new record, the accounting style defaults to whatever it is you have set here. Over here is the tab order, and if you notice that the order here is the same as the order here. And what this allows you to do is to adjust the order that these tabs show up. For example, some people prefer their judgment tab to be the first tab. So you can move it up like that, and then this would be your new tab order. Or you can leave it the way it was originally. The important thing you know about this is you put the tabs in the order you want. You can use these move up, move down links, get them all the way you want, and then you save it. And then what you have to do is this will not take effect until the next time you reopen the application. So you change these around, save it, close the application, reopen it, and then you'll see that the order of these tabs here is exactly the same as the order of these tabs here. The next thing we want to go over is the scheduling program and the user preferences that you have here for it. This here is the default reminder time. So when you create an appointment, this is the reminder time that it defaults to. So if we go over here and we go to the scheduler program and we type in an appointment there, you'll see that the reminder time, it goes to 60 minutes because that's what we have our user preferences set to. And then this here is whether or not you get a viewing of your appointments the first time you open the application for that day. So if you click on that and you have it checked, when you open your application up in the morning, it'll bring up the scheduling program and show you any appointments that you have for that day. And of course, if you didn't have any appointments for that day, it wouldn't show you them. And that's pretty much everything you need to know about the user preferences form. Another item was added to this form after the original video was made, and that is the ability to run the all warnings query on application open. And what that does is this query here that does all warnings, that shows you all the records in your database that have one of these four issues. It'll automatically run that when you first open the application, and that way you'll know any records that may need your immediate attention, and whether or not you use that option is completely up to you. If there are no warnings, then the database will just come up and show you all your normal records. If there are any warnings, it'll show up like this here. And after you look at those, of course, you just hit your clear filter button and you're back to your normal database. And whether or not you want to use that feature or not is up to you, but it is now available.